Hello and welcome to another edition of Hughes at 10. My name's Graham Hughes. It's just past 10 o'clock. It is Monday, the 21st of February 2022. Things are moving quite fast this evening, so I will be referring to my monitor a little bit to see what's going on. So I hope you don't mind me doing that because tonight, Vladimir Putin, the dictator of Russia for the last 22 years, has decided to invade another sovereign state again. The one that he invaded in 2014 to a little bit of a murmur of discontent in the West, but that was about it. This time, he has hopefully bitten off more than he can chew, but earlier this evening, he recognised the independence, apparently, of Donetsk and Luhansk, two areas in the east of Ukraine, which he says are part of Russia, really, because people speak Russian there. That's his excuse. That's his piss-poor sixth form debating competition excuse. They speak Russian there. Well, news for you, Vladimir. They speak English in South Africa. They speak English in New Zealand. They speak English in the United States of America. Doesn't give England the right to go and invade Rhode Island, does it, dickhead? No, it doesn't. So we've got Putin now essentially starting a new front on this war in Europe that's been rumbling on since 2014. And it's a war that has been fought not just on the battlefield, not just in eastern Ukraine, not just in the Crimea, but also in the hearts and minds of all of us. Because Vladimir Putin has very successfully taken over a lot of people's imaginations, like in that episode of South Park, Imagination. He's overtaken people's imaginations. And he has sown so much discontent in the West, propagated by his bullshit factories that he has, pumping out this trollish nonsense on the internet, using Twitter, using Facebook, these American companies, to destroy, to help destroy America. And he's got so far. He got Brexit done. He got Brexit done, not Boris Johnson. He got Trump into the White House. He nearly got Trump to take over the White House a second time after an armed insurrection, which would mean, let's face it, that like Trump would be in charge for the next 10, 20 years, however long he lived. And you think, oh, well, he's a fat old man. He's not going to last that long, is he? Look at Robert Mugabe. He lived through, what, 95, was he? Before he popped his clogs. Yeah, that's what we could be looking at. But he failed in that. Biden got in. Biden stayed in because basically one man, Mike Pence, weirdly enough, the vice president of the United States, who the president of the United States sent a mob of enraged brain donors into the Capitol building to kill, along with anyone else who got in their way. He said, no, I'm not going to put up with this. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to go along with your stupid plan. And as a result, Trump wasn't successful in his attempted armed insurrection. His attempted coup d'etat against the government of the United States of America. And by extension, Putin wasn't successful either. Putin's been trying to interfere in Ukraine for the last, since he became president, but he really started taking an interest in what Ukraine was up to around the time that he decided to invade Georgia, the state of Georgia, for which he annexed two parts of Georgia. Does this sound familiar? South Ossetia and Abkhazia, just still under Russian occupation to this day, still under Russian occupation because it's Russian-speaking people living there. And Georgia was making moves to join NATO and to become part of the EU because they could see how much better life was in the EU, or life is in the EU, compared with, I don't know, Russia. 144 million people, nearly all of whom live in abject poverty in the freezing cold. Yeah, well done, Vlad. You're doing a great job, mate. You're doing a great job. So he's now... He turned his attention to Ukraine, interfered in the politics, put in a puppet leader, like he's got a puppet leader, Lukashenko, up in Belarus, a country that he has invaded, by the way. The Belarusian government don't seem to mind because it is a puppet government, and I suppose they've got a hand up them. They don't really care whose hand it is. It's Vladimir Putin's. He's got all these troops stationed along the border between Belarus and Ukraine. I'm sure a lot of that border's still radioactive from the Chernobyl nuclear meltdown in 1986, but whatever. There's not to reason why. There's to do and die for Putin and his mad delusions of grandeur. And he honestly believes that Ukraine was never a credible state in its own right. Brilliant. No, it was just made up, wasn't it? Just made up. Do you know what's made up? Russia. Russia's a made-up state. It's a made-up country. Someone just made it up. There was no geographical boundaries where you said, oh, there's the border here. It was an Asian country for a very long time until someone decided, it was probably Peter the Great, or someone said, oh, let's make the Ural Mountains the boundary of Europe. It's like, okay then. Yes, that means that Russia is now a European country. Most of it's in Asia. It's an Asian country. It really is an Asian country, mostly. Which explains a lot. Anyway, so, yeah, here we are. It's all kicking off. I've got a new news feed up on my screen here, but I'm going to read some of your messages because I can see they're coming in thick and fast, like Posh and Bex. Actually, no, he was thick. That's just David Beckham, isn't it? Putin orders troops to descend on eastern Ukraine for peacekeeping operations. This is from 39 minutes ago, reported in The Guardian and also on the Financial Times website and the BBC website and also CNN International. This is really bad. So this is what we thought was going to happen. He has, as soon as he basically recognized these two regions of Ukraine as being independent, in the same way that South Ossetia and Abkhazia are independent, in the same way that Transnistria is independent in Moldova. Yeah. So basically now it's independent. I'm sorry to do the bunny ears thing. I know it's annoying, but I'm doing a quote. They're not really independent. If they ever got to break away from the rest of Ukraine, they would only ever be puppet states of Mother Russia. Motherfucking Russia. The biggest country in the world, which for some reason isn't big enough for Vladimir Putin. And you have all the same apologists, the little mealy-mouthed fuckers like Nigel Farage actually going on KGB News and saying, oh yeah, NATO have been quite aggressive in their policy of only allowing new members to join if they vote to join. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's exactly the same as, putting 150,000 troops on the border of a country that we want to join NATO. Hey, how about you join NATO? I don't want to. Oh, well, we're going to just annex bits of your land then. Yeah. All the usual suspects crawling out the woodwork. And then you got all these Tory fuckers who are like, oh, but we're going to do some sanctions. I bet they don't. I bet they do. Piss all. There's so much dirty Russian money flowing through the veins of London that could be frozen. It would be great. You know all the money that the government's wasted on shite over the last couple of years? Hey, maybe we could claw it all back by simply taking these assets from these Russian gangsters who got them from selling drugs, pimping, warfare, just generally horrible things. The London laundromat, they call it. Because we just clean all that money. We just clean it all up. All that international gangster money. We're the good guys. Jesus. They could do something. There's a list. Bill Browder's got on his Twitter account. Bill Browder is really well worth following. He's the guy who got the Magnitsky Act put into law all around the world about being able to freeze the assets of Russian gangsters, essentially, something that is actually on the books now in the UK, but I think it's yet to be used. It's something that they can use. They can threaten to use it, but at the moment, you've got Boris Johnson sort of using this and using the fucking, the end of COVID. There's still 140 people dying a day. But it's the end. They'll just finish now. Because he wants to jump the gun because of Partygate. Because he's tremendously unpopular. People think he's a liar and a con man and a cheat, and he is. So what better thing to do than to have a war? And there's something else here as well. This is going to fuck us. Simple reason being, you're going to have 5 million refugees, displaced people. Most of them will probably stay in Ukraine, but some of them won't. Some of them will be like, screw this, I'm out of here. I want my family to be safe. And they will leave and they will migrate across Europe trying to find somewhere to stay. And of course, the right-wing bastards like Nigel Farage will rub their hands with glee at this prospect of Britain having to take a few more refugees than it wants to, which is the number it wants to take is none. So anything more than that is a bad thing, but it's a good thing for the right-wingers or the right fucking whingers who can go, oh, these people are coming from another country and they're going to take our jobs and they're going to steal our women and they're going to take our benefits and something that never really happens in real life. Oh yeah, you walk down the street, you don't see a British person anymore. Are you freaking kidding me? Come to Durham, mate. Jesus Christ. It's like bloody Midwich cuckoos here. Anyway. So I'm going to just jump into the messages, as I said, awards. I've got loads of them. I've got a super chat from Alexis G. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat, Alexis. There's a lot to get through today. I hope that I get through as many messages as I can. But if you really, really, really want me to read your message, or you just like me, you can throw a super chat my way. It's open on this channel. It's not open on Graham Hughes Travels. It's not open on Graham Hughes Films because they don't have enough subscribers. But the super chats are open on this channel. If you want to throw some money my way, I will be very, very grateful. In fact, I get paid from Google this week. So if any money coming in today, I'll get it pretty much straight away, which is great. Be late for his own funeral, that man, says Paul. I'm not late. I don't say it's going to start exactly at 10. Although, maybe I should. Maybe I should start it. Because I'll start the stream at 10 normally. I made a spelling mistake. I put Vladimir instead of Vladimir. So I stopped the first stream and started it again. But maybe I should start at 10 to 10. More work. Evening 2022 is going better than I expected. Oh, yeah. Ben saying, yeah, it's all going, Evening all, just when we needed someone who wasn't a sack of custard in number 10 too. Well, indeed, yeah. Someone who wasn't a corrupt sack of custard, who was good friends with an ex-KGB agent and went to bunga bunga parties with that ex-KGB agent's son during the height of the Salisbury murder plot assassination attempt by the Russian state, which led to the death of a British citizen. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson was at bunga bunga parties in Italy with his mate who owns the Evening Standard, who he made into a fucking lord. The Lord of Siberia, no less. Yeah, this government's not tainted, like a taint, like the gap between your two. Anyway, hi Graham and all, says Diane. Hi Diane, how's it going? We've also got Mark, we've got David, we've got Alexis, we've got Mark again, we've got Conservator, we've got Paul, we have got Gaz Riley. All right, Gazla. We've got Mad Monk 33, we've got Conservator, we've got Alexis saying, muy bien, gracias, ¿cómo estás? Bien, muy bien. And hold on, Graham, the reason they speak English in those countries is because you did invade them. Yes, that's a good point. But the reason why they speak Russian in those countries, dun dun dun, sins of the father. But this is the thing, right? There is no justification whatsoever for Putin's action. And there is no justification for people making excuses for Putin's actions. Anyone making excuses for what Vladimir Putin is doing in this situation is an absolute grade 1 dead cert cunt. And you can tell him I said that. Adrian says, was working and missed the first part of Putin's rambling. Ukraine is both evil and doesn't exist rant. Yeah, might watch it back if I move for a self-pain. Seemed like a mad old grievance-ridden bore. Yeah, well, the thing is, he's kind of losing popularity in Russia. He's 70 years old this year. He knows that his, all political careers end in failure. And this is his last hurrah, I think, his last sort of throw of the dice to go, yes, I am strong man, you'll respect my... Oh, fuck off, mate, seriously. It's 2022. Voters who still go, oh, we need a strong man. It's pathetic. You don't need a strong man. You need someone who's competent. Competence makes money. If you have someone who is a strong man in charge of your country, chances are, unless you're already a billionaire, you're going to lose your shirt. It's just the way it goes. Because you need competence at the heart of any government. And when you've got people like Vladimir Putin too busy playing political games, or when you've got Bolsonaro in Brazil too busy burning down the rainforest willy-nilly just to enrage people. He makes people angry. Oh, he's doing a good job there. When you've got people like Boris Johnson in charge of a country, no wonder the economy's going into the shit. You don't want comedians. You don't want strong men. You don't want... Well, actually, the leader of Ukraine was a comedian, so that's quite funny. But you don't want Boris Johnson, who was famous for being funny on Have I Got News For You. And if you ever watched the clip of him one of the clips of him on Have I Got News For You, this is before he became mayor of London and stuff, and he was getting taken to task for the time that he had a phone call off one of his friends who wanted to know where a certain journalist lived so that friend could go beat the shit out of that journalist. Yeah, he was questioned about that, and he found it off as a big joke. Oh, it was funny, yes, I did naughty things. Oh, he got away with it, and that's, part of the problem. Part of the problem. So, yeah. So, if you do get a comedian to run a country, I want them to be an actual professional comedian. Not just someone who has a shtick like Boris Johnson and runs with it. But yeah, I just miss the competence of the past. Feels like an undiscovered country now, doesn't it? It's like so untouchable now. It's just somewhere else. It's gone in time and space. Do you remember when the people in charge were competent? Do you remember when they wouldn't send kids home? They didn't send kids to school for a day and then send them home. Do you remember when they wouldn't redo everyone's A-levels? So if you went to a state school, your A-levels got knocked down, but if you didn't, they went up. Do you remember when they didn't have a party every other fucking week when you couldn't go and visit your parents? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was great. I watched RT for 10 minutes after Putin's speech. How is that allowed the license? I don't know, Ian. Ian, that's a really good question. RT and KGB News as well, because KGB News, the brainchild of Andrew Neil, some horrible big Scottish slug who lives in France, who hates the EU because reasons. The guy who edited The Spectator but managed to keep his job at the BBC, even though you're supposed to be impartial as on the BBC. You know, give everyone a good grilling. Give everyone a good grilling. So he gave Jeremy Corbyn a good grilling, and then Boris Johnson said, "No, I'm not going to do that." And but you must. I will write tweets saying that you should. I think, oh, okay, yeah, well, okay. I'm going to win this anyway. Bloody hell. You could put a lump of a tub of lard. Have I got news for you reference? You could put a tub of lard up against Jeremy Corbyn. It would have bloody won. Anyway, so Adrian says, to the Kremlin, I'm afraid Ukraine is like a second Russia, meaning rule of law and parliamentary democracy, economy closer to the EU is an essential threat to the Putin-led oligarch tyranny. Yes, Adrian, but actually, no, it's like a third Russia because you've already got a second Russia, which is Belarus, or White Russia, it's also known. Has anyone seen the Russian film from 2002 called Lilia Forever? It's set in Latvia during the 90s, unimaginably poor and depressed. Have you seen Latvia lately? Amazing how a country changed. Yes, I've been to Latvia a couple of times, actually. And Lithuania and Estonia, and they're bloody beautiful. And in fact, in Estonia, in the capital, they have... shit, I forgot his name now. Tallinn? No, I can't remember. Tallinn. In Tallinn, they have... they have the free public transport. Free public transport. You just get on and off the bus. It's brilliant. A lot may depend on whether it's major. A lot may depend on whether they insist the entire Donetsk and Luhansk obelisks now rightfully belong to the new Russia protectorate, or whether they de facto recognize the current line of contact. Well, do you know what I mean? It's either way. I don't think Putin ever intended not to invade. You don't put 150,000 troops on a border and not intend to invade somewhere. It just seems like a daft thing to do. A lot of time and effort to go and then dial it back. But I do feel like if we were stronger with Russia, so when they cheat in the fucking Olympics, we actually ban them from the Olympics. When they cheat in football, when they cheat in the ice hockey, when they cheat in fucking anything, we say, right, that's it, you can't play anymore. The rest of the world's going to play this game and you can fuck off. Because all you do is cheat and moan and whinge about the great old days when Stalin was in charge. No, the great days. what? When the Tsar was in charge? Oh, no, the great old days. When what? Bloody Ivan the Terrible was in charge. Oh, bloody hell. Take me back. And it's the same bullshit, toxic nostalgia that you hear in the UK. People are obsessed with Second World War. People are obsessed with the Blitz. You get these people who weren't even born when the Blitz happened going, you kids these days, you'd like to see them kind of live through the Blitz. And it's like, well, you didn't either. What are you talking about, you yellow-bellied scumbag? And then in America, you've got this, the past was amazing. I remember in the 1950s where you could lynch someone for the colour of their skin. Why can't you do that anymore? And it's like, oh my God, how can you look back at that and go, yeah, that was a good time? Yeah, the Vietnam War, remember that in the 60s? Oh, that was great. Great days, kids taken out of the city, never seen a fucking tree before, put them in the middle of a jungle. Oh, good God, off you go, lads. Bloody hell. When was this golden era? Make America great again. Make Russia great again. Make Britain great again. This great golden era in the past never fucking existed. It's always been a struggle for people. Always. In the past, some people did better than they are now, maybe. But generally speaking, the march of history, things get incrementally better. Well, they did. Until 2016, I think. And I think one of the main, this is the natural progression of things. This is what happens when you allow twats like Vladimir Putin to get away with stuff. And I've said this so much about Boris Johnson. Oh, those Russian names. I've said this so much about Boris Johnson. No one has ever said stop. No one's ever said that's too much. No one said stop what you are doing. I'm going to fucking belt you or whatever. Just put him in his place. No one's ever done that. And so Boris Johnson, he's never felt loved, and same with Putin, never felt loved, never known that emotion. These guys, they're sociopaths. They don't have any empathy. They don't care about anyone else but themselves. They enrich their mates, but that makes them richer because it makes sure that their mates look out for them. You don't want to take all the money. Don't fall into that trap because then someone else will do a coup on you. But what Boris Johnson did in this country was tantamount to a coup. He cheated in a referendum, so he would win. An MP was murdered, and they said, "Oh, we're going to stop campaigning," and they didn't stop campaigning. They overspent. They broke the law. There was Russian interference that wasn't investigated by the Met because the Met is corrupt, institutionally corrupt, as found by the Daniel Morgan independent panel. Also, institutionally racist. I mean, Jesus Christ, the Met. What sort your shit out? Sort your shit out. But yeah, so you got Putin, who is now. I hope this is the last roll of the dice. But this started in 2008. This started with the invasion of Georgia, the 7-day war, 8-day war, whatever it was. That when the might of Russia just basically rolled over these two vast swathes of Georgia, and the Western world turned the other way and went, oh well, never mind. At the time, President Shevardnadze was like, help, please, and everyone's like, well, really. If he wants them, he can have them, really, can't he? And that's Putin testing the water. See where the line is. Where's the line? That led into 2014. Frustrated that he had lost his little puppet leader in the revolution, the maiden revolution of 2014, he invaded Crimea. It stole the Crimean Peninsula. It's like someone stealing the Isle of Bloody Wight from the British, and Britain going, oh, well, there's a lot of French-speaking people in the Isle of Wight, so it makes sense, really, for the French to have that island. I mean, they did have it in the past when our countries were joined under one union of, I don't know, Henry II or something, and Eleanor of Aquitaine. I mean, just, all right, whatever. It's painful. It's painful to see this obvious progression of aggression, to coin a phrase, where the strongman the strongman leader will keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing until he gets what he wants. And what does Putin want at the end of the day? He wants control of Ukraine. He doesn't want the people of Ukraine being happy and free. He wants them to be imprisoned, miserable, grumpy at the world, and just really miserable. Some of the most miserable people I've ever met. And obviously there's a lot of Russians who are absolutely lovely, but I've met quite a few Russians when I was traveling, and not least in Russia, and you know, when they were handing out the good humour gene, they tended to have less of them. I don't know. Fewer, I guess. But yeah, that's the way a lot of people from Russia came across. They seemed a bit miserable, I guess. That's really, I was probably racist, xenophobic. I don't care anymore. Russia's trying to invade another country. Well, it is invading. There's troops probably moving right now as I'm saying this. I'm just updating the live news feed on the oh god. Subscribe to read Financial Times. You're bloody useless, mate. Yeah, it is looking a little grim. If you want to keep me up keep me up to date in the comments, that'd be great. Also, I've got so many comments coming down here, thick and fast. Obviously, I can't read them all, so if you do want to drop in a couple of quid into the super chats, that will make my life a bit easier and your life a bit easier because I'll actually read your comments. But I'll see how far I can get. Phil Spicer said there's Russian money literally sewn into the local British politics and businesses as well. UK is deeply entwined with Russian oligarchs at many levels. It is indeed. Hard to get rid of dirty money after it's been successfully launched into the financial system. Yes, Adrian, but a lot of houses in, say, Belgravia in London are owned by Russians. And you just say, right, we're having that back. Thank you very much. It's not like they're fucking using them. These places, like the Rotten Row of these billionaire oligarchs, they buy these townhouses, these wonderful Georgian terraced houses, and they just leave them to rot. They don't live there. They're just there as an asset. They're just there because they want to clean their money and make some money. And one of the things that never loses money is houses in this country. Yes, gold can depreciate, currency can depreciate, but houses must go up in price all the time, always up, always up, always up. They went up like $8,000 in the last month. $8,000. The average price of a property on Rightmove went up $8,000 in a month. That's bloody insane, mate. That is insane. And it's unsustainable. It's a bubble. And at some point, it will burst. And you'll have a lot of people in negative equity as a result. Duke Vengeance is spitting thunder. Not Hughes at 10-ish. It's titled Hughes at 10. All right. To be fair to me, I've only taken £2 in super chats today. So you want me to be more tardy? Give me more money. Adrian Wilson said, I wouldn't, less tardy, sorry. Bloody hell. I wouldn't yet rule out the possibility of sending forces into the People's Republic as actually a face-saving way of the Kremlin to actually back off an all-out invasion of Ukraine. I don't know. Lee's asking, over what years and years it predicted Russia invading Ukraine, causing a massive refugee crisis. Yes, 5 million refugees. They're going to go somewhere. They're going to go somewhere. And this is the thing that we've got to look forward to with climate change. As countries become uninhabitable, people are not going to stay in those countries, right? They're going to move. And the neighbouring countries might not be particularly welcoming of them or might not be able to feed them because there's so many people coming from another country. So they will tend to get distributed around the world. And it is a gift to the right-wingers to say, oh, these people, they've got a different language and they speak a different language out loud on the bus. Yeah! Like that fuckwit Farage says. When Farage says that, he's basically saying that he doesn't like it when his wife, or his ex-wife now, his wife and his children speak German in the house, which they did. They're bilingual. I'm speaking German. Oh, fuck off, mate. Farage, you fuckwit. Right, anyway, yeah. But people do that. They go, oh, they're speaking a different language. Oh, you got a different religion. Well, no, it's the same religion. We both worship the same God. Yeah, but you worship him on Wednesdays and I worship him on Sundays. Okay. And my God's got 3 sides and your God's got 4 sides. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we all worship the triangle God. No, we're the square God. Well, what's the difference? Well, one is the God of infinite mercy and justice, and the other one is the God of infinite mercy and justice. But he's only got 3 fucking sides, mate. That's the important bit. Or even better, up in Northern Ireland, where for hundreds of years, people have literally been killing each other over transubstantiation. This weird esoterical thing, theological bullshit about whether the Eucharist, whether the wine that you get when you take communion, whether it actually turns into the blood of Jesus Christ in your mouth as you're drinking it, or whether it just symbolizes the blood of Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, that's where hundreds of years of slaughter. Actually, not just Northern Ireland. That's the whole Protestant and Catholic dichotomy in a nutshell, really. I mean, it wasn't really about that. It was about who was in charge of the church, whether it was one guy in Canterbury or one guy in Rome. But, you know, generally speaking, it came down to, yeah, how dare you say that it is just a metaphor? Yeah, so this guy, he took some wine and he said, this is my blood. It wasn't blood. It was wine. Sounds like a bit of a metaphor to me. He then got some bread and said, this is my body. It wasn't his body. He didn't hack his fucking hand off. It was a bit of bread. Sounds like a metaphor to me. So, but you know what? What do I fucking know? You know, I'm half left footer and I guess half right footer. I have, I'm a descendant from both sides of the argument, and I'm an atheist. What can I say? It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, they've got some money coming in. Wow, I've got 2,000 Hungarian florins. Oh my God, thank you so much. Number 3 has given me £2. I'll set a money avalanche going, thank you, number 3. You are beautiful. We've got Phil Spicer, who's also beautiful. Great Plantagenet reference all throughout history. We've made up fanciful shite about historical lunatics. Thank you very much for noticing that, Phil. Good on you, mate, and thank you for the £5 super chat. Ollie is there with 2,000 Hungarian florins. Please ignore my previous message. I edited it the wrong way. Sorry. I will happily ignore that, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that you've just given me 2,000 Hungarian florins. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Baldrick III has given £5. I like it when you're not on time. Give me time to get a cup of tea. Actually, that's one of the things that I do. I'm getting ready to do my show. I've got to have my hat, and God knows where it is in the house. I'm like, oh God, I've got to get me a cup of tea, so I've got to have a drink. You know, you try talking for an hour without taking a sip of water or, you know, tea or coffee or whatever. You dry up. You have to, you know. That's why they make TED Talks like 9 minutes long. So you don't need water. Just go out and do it. When you're doing a TED Talk, they put a clock in front of you, you know, like an iPad or something with a countdown on it, and you've got to structure your talk to be exactly the time that they say. Or it's like the Oscars, they start playing the music. They don't really, but you know what I mean. It's like, get off the stage. They run a tight ship, which I appreciate, because having worked on a few marches and rallies over the last few years against Brexit, I really do appreciate the fact that they're quite stickler for timekeeping, because there's nothing worse than being at a rally or something, and even if the weather's nice, which it isn't necessarily, someone bloody babbling on for 20 freaking minutes about something. You're like, oh, please, you know, 5 minutes, you can just about take it. Yeah, that's fine. You bore me for 5 minutes. Bore me for 20 minutes. Jesus, no, can't be dealing with that. Get off the stage. Get someone else on. They can bore me for 5 minutes instead. I need another voice. Okay, talking of other voices, here's Paul Taylor. Thank you, Paul, with £5 super chat. I watched Johnson's conference about COVID today. All I heard in my head was Graham's voice calling him a lying cunt. Thank you. I hope that made it more tolerable watching that absolute scumbag banana bag of custard, syphilitic bag of custard, blathering on about how we've beaten COVID. You know, 170,000 people are dead. We've beaten it. I mean, fucking hell. Imagine standing on a pile of bodies, 170,000 dead bodies, clambering up to the top of all these rotting corpses, and you get to the very summit, and you're like, ta-da, we won. And you're like, you know, camera pans back, and there's this mountain of bodies. It's like, yeah, we won. That's how we won, by killing loads of people. In China, they reckon 8,000 people have died of COVID because they locked down like motherfuckers. 8,000 in China, a population of 1.3 billion. And we've got 170,000 dead people. We're having 100 people dying a day. Still. And they're going, oh, it's over. It's all over now. We're done here. Unbelievable. Freckle Puny has left a message saying it does seem some on the left have a historical affection towards Russia, hence their soft approach to Putin. And those on the far right love Putin, as they see him as a strong man to admire. Yeah, Freckle Puny, you are absolutely 100% on the money. And again, we see the political spectrum. It's not a spectrum. If you see a rainbow from above, it's a circle. Yeah, it's not a spectrum. It's a circle. It's not a horseshoe, it's a circle. And you see this, and at the bottom, whether they come from the left or whether they come from the right, you've got one thing: totalitarianism. And it can be communist totalitarianism, it can be fascist totalitarianism. But both ways, it's totalitarianism. And it is when a government wants to, and the people who support that government fanatically want to interfere in the totality of your existence. Where you work, who you date, who you marry, where you live, how you live, what you do with your spare time. If they want to control those aspects of your life, they're generally at the bottom of the circle, in the sewer with the totalitarians. And that's why there's so many parallels between fascist Italy, fascist Spain, Nazi Germany, and the Soviet Empire. Both, crazed dreams of horrible old men who were quite happy to just kill as many people got in their way in pursuit of a horrifically misguided dream. And then all of those people, like Franco, Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin, all had a little fucking cult around them, didn't they? You still saw those little old women in the 90s walking down the street, with the pictures of Stalin above their head, walking through Moscow. Oh, God, I miss Uncle Joe. Miss Uncle Joe, guy who fed, 60 million of his own people into the meat grinder. Yeah, what a lovely man. Bring him back. Jesus Christ. Nick says, for maximum punitive sanctions against Russia, they should get David Frost and Bozo to negotiate it. When it comes to killing trade and imposing enormous barriers, they have form. Yes, but only to do it to ourselves. They're not very good at doing it to other people. Jim Bob says, have £200 miracle faith quid from me. Oh, sorry, I didn't pray hard enough. Damn, man. Pray harder. Pray harder. It's funny how on those American shows, when you went to America maybe a few years ago, this hit me. I first went to America in the 1990s. It was like 1994, I think. And just seeing the American TV channels just blew my mind. There was adverts for lawyers, which I don't think we had at the time in the UK. That wasn't allowed, and since it has been, that hasn't been great for the law profession or for people. They had adverts for pharmaceutical medicine, which blew my mind, because you had these adverts, and then someone had to say at the end all of the possible side effects that came from taking this prescription medicine. And it would be like this big list ranging from diarrhea to heart attacks to death. And it was just oh my God. And it's spoken as quickly as possible, but they had to get all these little side effects. The side effects might include blah, 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 blah. But yeah, the big shock was seeing these God's programs on TV, where you had someone in not a movie studio, a TV studio. Someone in a TV studio with live television audience, and it was done out like a really tacky church, gold inlaid shite, looking like a cross between an 80s quiz show on the TV, like The Price is Right or something, and a church with just shitty stained glass window, looks like it's made of plastic, and they'll have a chandelier. They'll have a chandelier in the studio, and they'll be like, "You've got to give me $10,000. I've got to make $10,000 in the next hour, or we're gonna have to take the chandelier down." And people are like, "Oh shit, we've got to save the chandelier. Quick, give them the money, give them money." People with fuck all. And they're giving money. People can't afford healthcare, and they're giving money to this guy on the TV for his chandelier. At least when I'm sort of going, do you mind throwing some super chat in? I'm like, we do need to pay the heating. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, heating bills. It's horrible. It's crazy. And now on top of all that, we have Vladimir Putin ordering his troops to invade Ukraine, to invade someone else's bloody country. So, yeah, I don't know where we go from here. He's ordered them to descend on eastern Ukraine for peacekeeping. It's actually in inverted commas, peacekeeping operations. And it's quite terrifying. The number of people who have died in eastern Ukraine has been going down and down since 2014, where it all really kicked off. And I think in 2021, I think about 50 people were killed in the ongoing conflict that has been, pushed by the Russian government. And this conflict seemed to be dying off. I don't think the people of Ukraine were going to fall for this bullshit from Putin, and all I can hope right now is this backfires massively on the cunt. This is what I want. This is what I want him to lose all his money. I want him to lose his power. I want him to end his life in a fucking gulag in Siberia. I want this guy out of power. I want him a mile away from power. I want all of his little fucking cronies, both in Russia and around the world, like Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage and all his fucking lackeys, to fuck off and diet without the tea. And I really do think that this could be, hopefully, touch wood, under the table it's wood, touch wood, this could be the end of it. Hopefully, because I hope that he has finally overreached. But it's going to be up to the West to actually stand up for itself and stop being fucking slapped around by this joke of a country that has a GDP on a par with fucking Grenada. No offense to Grenada, but you're not a population of 144 million people. Russia is a massive country in terms of geography. It's also a massive country in terms of population size. One of the biggest countries in the world in terms of population. And yet, when you look at its GDP, it's way down the list. Way down the list. Why? Because of all the corruption. Because these stinking bastards in charge, who have been in charge for the last 22 years, have just been lining their pockets. Actually, they've been lining their pockets before then, but Putin brought it under the auspices of the state. That's what he did. Up till then, it was like the Wild West. He was the sheriff who came to town and said, right, everyone, give me money and I'll let you all do your criminal enterprises. And the people who said no, fuck off, ended up in jail or dead. Veg Pie, Super Chat. Thank you, Veg Pie, for £4.49 Super Chat there. And you've also got a big hola from David. Breaking: Vladimir Putin has ordered Russian troops to 2 breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine, raising fears of a full-on invasion. Indeed. Ukraine crisis: UK to sanction Russia over breakaway regions decision. Yeah, the government aren't going to invite any parties for the next couple of weeks, says Paul Taylor. Yes, Paul, you're probably right on that note, because we have the power. This is the most frustrating thing of these fucking cunts in fucking power in this fucking country. They could stop this. People are going to die. People are going to die tonight because they're going to fight against these fuckers coming into their country and declaring it part of Russia all of a sudden. And people are going to die. Mothers are going to lose their children. Children are going to lose their parents. And it is in the gift of this gobshite fuckwit Tory party shite, this Brexit fucking party, this fucking blue kip piece of shit that constitutes our government. It's in their gift to stop it, because they have Putin over a fucking barrel because they can freeze his assets. This is how Gaddafi was brought down. Gaddafi, like all dinosaur leaders of Africa and the Middle East, he was a leader of both, could have hung on because he had an almost unlimited supply of troops coming up from Chad and other neighbouring countries that would have fought for him had he been able to pay them. Now, funny story. In the late zeros or noughties, I think, one of his sons, one of his gobshite sons, this is Muammar Gaddafi I'm talking about now. One of Gaddafi's sons was, I think, arrested in Switzerland because he beat up his maid or a hotel maid, I think. And Gaddafi was outraged at this, beating up a woman, that's not a crime. Well, yes, actually, Mr. Gaddafi, it is a crime, so fuck off, you scumbag. But as a result, he not only stopped any Swiss people coming from Switzerland into Libya. He then, when he realised that Swiss people had Schengen passports, effectively, he then expanded the zone of people who were not allowed to visit Libya to the entire Schengen zone. This is about 2010 he did this. And he moved his money out of his Swiss bank accounts. And as we've seen today, another news story that I just haven't got time to talk about at the moment, but Credit Suisse. He moved his money out of his dodgy-ass Swiss bank accounts and put them in dodgy-ass Cayman Islands bank accounts. And when it all kicked off in the Arab Spring in 2011, the British government at the time, under David Cameron, could freeze his assets that were being held in British territories around the world, which is what they did. So he had some money in his own country, but a lot of his wealth was actually in banks around the world. He couldn't get access to that money, and he couldn't afford to pay his soldiers coming from other countries to protect him against his own people. And he got beaten to death at the side of the road. So, you want to stop these leaders being in charge? You cut off their money. It's like cutting off their fucking blood supply, cutting off the oxygen. And we could do it because there's so much corrupt money, so much Russian money sloshing around in London. Yeah, it's also Bill Browder. He's got a list of 25 people. They just say, just cut all their assets. Very close associates of Putin. As we found out in the Panama Papers, one of his mates is a musician, trombonist or violinist or something. He's worth over $2 billion. You don't make that much money busking in Red Square, believe me. Number 3 says, we need a new system. Viva la revolution! We do need a new political system. We don't need to do a democracy. Democracy is quite nice, but we could do with giving it a bit of a tart up. It's looking a bit old and shonky, especially with our first past the post system and the fact that it's all based on people being good eggs rather than an actual fucking constitution that keeps all these motherfuckers in line and tells them the way they have to behave and what laws they can enact. Ones that don't take away our rights, like what these clowns have done time and time again. They took away our right to freely travel and work throughout Europe. Then they took away our right to, they're going to take our rights away to protest very soon. And left to their own devices, I think they'll take away our right to vote full stop. That's what the end game is here. You need an ID to vote, and then eventually it become, you need a Tory party membership card to vote. Yeah, it's happened before. Not in this country, but it's happened before. Bangladesh has a bigger population than Russia, says Fakapuni. It does. It did. And 2/3 of that country live below sea level, which is a bit worrying. Indeed. The invasion of eastern Ukraine is similar to Hitler invading the Czech Sudetenland and claiming he was merely uniting German-speaking peoples. Yeah, I mean, Putin's not an idiot. I'll give him that. I give him that over fucking Boris Johnson. Just about. But yeah, I've got no updates now in the last hour while I've been blabbling away on the Guardian website, which is a bit shit. I'm going to just... I'll keep refreshing it, and it doesn't do anything new. The last update was from an hour ago. Yep, it's still from an hour ago. Oh, no, hang on. That's the top thing, and then I've got a block saying support the Guardian and things like that. Okay. Number 10 spokesman said the Prime Minister will chair a Cobra meeting at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Well, why not tonight? Like, what the fuck? Is he got to have an early night? I'm still awake. You're still awake. Why isn't the Prime Minister awake doing stuff? Jesus Christ. In Kyiv, which is the correct pronunciation of the Ukrainian capital, in Kyiv, Ukrainian officials say Russian troops may have already entered separatist territory this evening as part of what Vladimir Putin claims is a peacekeeping mission to the Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics. This is what he's calling them, the People's Republics. You always got to worry when the type of government that a country aspires to is in the name of the government, like the Democratic Republic of Congo, or indeed the Republic of Congo, or the Democratic Republic of Korea, or the People's Republic of China, or that. Yeah, you get the message. Video released by Ukraine tonight appears to show a column of military vehicles with their headlights on moving in convoy along a road. The official said it was not possible to tell the troops belong to the regular Russian army or were from Russian-controlled separatist units. This isn't good. Paul says, Constitution, but the US Constitution has held them back from common sense, like gun control. I don't think it's the US Constitution's fault per se. It should never have been a constitutional right. The fact that it is absolutely fucking ridiculous when you think about it. But the Constitution has been changed in the past. The Constitution was changed to end slavery. It was changed to ban alcohol. So it is possible to change the Constitution and then change it back in the case of banning alcohol. And yeah, the Equal Rights Amendment should have gone through in the 70s, but it's got to be ratified by about 2 more states, and it's 50 years on. It still hasn't actually been ratified by those 2 states that still need to ratify it. So yeah, it does make those kind of things a bit difficult, but you would have a mechanism for changing the Constitution if you need to, but having a positive Bill of Rights would be good, would be a good thing. not to replace human rights with a bullshit Bill of Rights from this shitty Tory party, because that makes a mockery of what a human right is. DimTR says, is your opinion is this weaken the position of Russia on Kosovo and how much Serbia will be pissed off? Well, I mean, it's going to be a bit difficult, isn't it, thinking about the Kosovan situation? Because obviously, for the last 24 years, Kosovo has been a breakaway republic. It's been its own separate state away from Serbia. And although you can drive from Serbia into Kosovo, you can't drive from Kosovo into Serbia if you've entered Kosovo from Macedonia or Montenegro or Albania. North Macedonia, sorry. Didn't mean to offend the Greeks. But how can they not defend the Kosovans' right to self-determination if they're making up these bullshit independent People's Republic of South Ossetia, of Abkhazia, of Transnistria, of Donetsk and Luhansk? I mean, fuck. Yeah. But one of the things that people have said is like, oh, the West has intervened in things in the past and it should keep its nose. I'm like, no, this is Europe. This is Europe. We're one big family here. Okay, so yeah, it affects us, and we need to defend our members of this group of countries that the people who live here in this continent. Fairness, it's not really a continent, is it? It's a peninsula of Asia. But let's not go there. Let's go Europe. It's wrong. We don't want one country invading another, which is what kicked off World War II and World War I, which we don't want to relive. I'm hoping that this is the end of Putin. It could go one or two ways, depending on how the West plays this. It could either be the end of Putin or it could be the making of Putin. He could be in charge now for another 20 years off the back of this, off the back of the invasion of Ukraine. He's going to take over these two areas. He's going to sit there and say to the Russian people, "Oh, great! I took back Ukraine." Is that like the new "Make America Great Again"? Isn't it? Take back control. Take back Ukraine. It's part of Russia, you know. No, it's a separate country. In fact, when it was the USSR, it was a separate SSR. It was a separate SSR to Russia. Oh, but Crimea was part of it. Yeah, but when it all broke up, it was part of Ukraine. Okay, Crimea was part of Ukraine. And if 40 years earlier or 30 years earlier, the African countries had said, look, we know these borders are bullshit, but we're going to live with them. If Africa can do it, I don't see why Russia can't either. But they lost a lot of face, I guess, in the 1990s with the breakup of the Soviet Union, and they still feel betrayed by the fact that the ex-SSRs of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania turned immediately to the EU and turned immediately to NATO and said, help, we don't want to get invaded by Russia again. Can you make it so we're part of this defensive alliance that simply says if you invade one member of it, you invade us all? And if I live next door to Russia, I would want to be part of that too. I would want to be part of that too. It's not the constitution of the US to have a gun. It's the right to have a well-ordered militia. Courts have made this rule over time. Yeah, that's true. But the way it's worded, it's open to interpretation, unfortunately, and it's a stupid rule to have in there. I mean, a lot of the rules in the Bill of Rights are a bit stupid. I think the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, someone correct me, but it's like you shouldn't have to suffer having troops quartered in your home, and it's like, okay, not really applicable in 2022. America's got the biggest and most expensive military in the world. They don't need to put troops in people's homes, but thank God there's a thing in the Bill of Rights about it. But don't forget, it's only the Second Amendment to the Constitution. It was an amendment. It was a change to the original Constitution. So it can be changed. It was changed before. It can change again. But the political system of America needs to change in order for that to happen. I think that's going to happen anytime soon, because I think there is a lot of people with a lot of vested interest in doing nothing, in having a government that's completely ineffectual. Even when the Democrats have control of the House and the Senate and the presidency, there's very little they can get done because of the Senate filibuster and the absolute intransigence of the Republicans. And instead of doing something sensible, as far as I'm concerned. Extreme, perhaps, but sensible. Actually, it's not extreme, making DC and Puerto Rico states, which gives the Democrats another 4 senators off the bat. Also, getting rid of the filibuster, which means that a minority party can't exercise its will, or can't frustrate the will of the majority party, which makes sense to me. And finally, just stacking the Supreme Court and then changing the rules so you can't put any more people on the Supreme Court. So we have 12 judges, and half of them, more than half, are Democrat-leaning judges. So we don't have this case of what happened in Texas last year with the abortion law coming in. Darren Christian has just dropped in a £10 super chat, so I'm going to stop everything and pay attention. Thank you, Darren. You're very kind. We need a paradigm shift in global economics that rewards localism and stakeholder participation, and not infinite growth and concentration of capital regarding corruption, greed, and amorality. Yes. Yeah, I feel like giving you the £10 back now and giving you an extra £10 on top for saying such an awesome thing. Yes, we do. And we need a paradigm shift in global economics that rewards localism and stakeholder participation. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely, Darren. That's what we need to build. And the first step of this, I know I would love to do more. But look, the first step is to not give up. It's to not, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to give up. They want you to shut up. And that's what we've got to not do, just to get started. Because as soon as we give up, as soon as I give up, as soon as you give up, then the fuckers have won. So I'm gonna keep banging this drum until I feel more settled in my country, that I'm leaving a better place for the generations that come after me. And I don't feel that way at the moment. I feel like we are fucking this place up. Something rotten. Not just this country, but this planet. We're fucking up for future generations, which is disgusting. And if I can spend my time on this planet doing something, I've said this before, but I've pretty much ticked off my bucket list at the age of 40. So everything I wanted to do, I think I did. Trying to think if there's anything that I really wanted to do in life that I didn't do by the age of 40. Nope, nothing there. So, I'm happy to spend the rest of my life just trying to make things better for the future generations. And it starts with just not giving up and not shutting up. Every time I'm on Twitter and I get a troll or whatever, I just block the fuckers these days. I don't even bother arguing. But every time, it's always the same thing. It's shut up. Why won't you shut up? Why won't you stop talking? Why don't you stop talking about this? I want you to shut up. Why? You want me to make you feel more happy about the political decisions that you've taken in your life and who you voted for? Fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. I'm not, it's fine, right? I'm not going to tell you to shut up. I'll tell you you're a moron and I'll block you. That's fine. But who am I? Who am I to tell people to not talk anymore? Especially if they don't have much of a platform. I mean, fucking hell, these are the same people who whine endlessly, the right whiners, the right whingers. They whine about bloody cancel culture. These are whinging about the fact that the richest author in the world is maligned by the New York Times or whatever. It's like, all right, yeah, she's been cancelled. She must not speak her name or whatever they call her. But so what? She's still sold X many books. Still the richest fucking author in the world. Oh, you cancel culture. You're cancelling Joe Rogan. Big bad boy Joe Rogan. And the same people want to cancel me. So what, is it just selective cancelling? Is this that you want some people to shut up but other people to be platformed and given a big audience and allowed to say what the fuck they like, no matter how offensive, no matter how much damage it does or how many people it kills ultimately? Anyway, give me strength. Oh wow, we've got a few more chats coming in. Pineapple Boy, thank you very much, Pineapple Boy, £4.49. We need a global carbon tax, a global minimum corporation tax, and a global inheritance tax for billionaires, and we need UBI. Couldn't agree more. Pineapple Boy, I could not agree more. Oli B, and thank you very much for the super chat. Oli B has thrown in another 2,000 Hungarian florins. I think instead of war, we should drink some nice tea, sing some nice songs, and go home with peace and a smile. Yeah. That's what we should do with our lives. I mean, imagine being a Russian soldier now, dying for the bizarre megalomaniac dreams of fantasies of a decrepit old dying leader, of a decrepit old dead empire, trying to, bring back the corpse of the Soviet Empire, bring it back to life. Bit of electricity, that'll do it. It's alive! Not going to happen, mate. Can't go back in time. You can never stand in the same river twice because you always got water running past you. That's it, right? It's over. It's over, Vladimir. It's over. Look to the future. Why don't you concentrate on, making your own people rich? Not just your mates, but your country. You've got a lot of resources. Could do a lot of good. Instead of concentrating your time and your energy going out your brain and what your fucking neighbour's doing. You know the type, don't you? The type of person who's never fucking happy. They've got a big fucking house and they've got a big car and they've got 2 big cars or whatever. But their neighbour's got a slightly bigger car. Neighbour's got a slightly bigger house. And they obsess over it. They can never see what they've got. I talk about this sometimes. I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. There was a Devin Brown special and it was about luck. And it was interesting because it basically said you make your own luck. If you see yourself as a lucky person, you will put yourself into more situations where lucky things good things are more likely to happen. And there was a guy on there who was, he had a business, he had a lovely wife, he had kids, and all he did was complain. All he did was complain because his brother won 10 grand on the lottery and he didn't. And he was in a car crash 17 years ago and he survived. Obviously, because he's still there, still whinging about it. And he just couldn't see the good things. He couldn't see the fact that a woman had fallen in love with him enough to stand up in front of their friends and family and in front of the audience of the inventor of the universe and say, I'm never going to fuck anyone else for the rest of my life except this motherfucker right next to me. Because that's marriage. I can't recommend it enough, kids. I'm not married. I don't think I ever will be. But anyway, yeah. He seemed to just dismiss the fact that he had, a couple of kids who were great, doing all right in school. He just couldn't look at that. All he had to do was be bitter and moaning about, and these people, they have a nice, comfortable life, the fucking Land Rover in the garage, and all they do is moan about refugees. Oh, refugees coming over and it's really horrible. And the EU won't let me have high-powered light bulbs and then they jump in the Ferrari and fuck off. And you're like, what the fuck? Seriously? This is the wow. There's no pleasing some people. Anyway, Ernie Byrne says most of the time when people complain about being cancelled, they've actually been exposed. Yeah, but also cancellation, Ernie, as you know, is just capitalism. It's just people going, I don't want to buy this shit. I don't want to buy Spotify with Joe Rogan on it. I don't want to buy J.K. Rowling books if she's going to be a big fucking transphobe. I mean, do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. I don't need anyone to go around on the internet telling people that I'm not racist because I don't come out with racist shit. And that I've got over 1,000 hours of footage of me on the fucking internet, right? There's over 1,000 hours of footage of me traveling the world, getting drunk, getting absolutely fucking hammered out of my head. When I was in Mauritius in 2009, I went into a pub called the Keg and Marlin, and they had this thing. It's like a drink your way around the world in 20 drinks. I just won on the horses that day. Look, I know, I don't want to make it sound like my journey to every country in the world was some arduous slog. It was a fucking great laugh. I want to emphasize that. It was a fucking great laugh. Anyway, I said, what's this drink your way around the world competition? He said, well, you got to drink 20 beers from different countries around the world. And I'm like, okay, how long you got to do this? He said, well, usually 2 months. And has anyone done it in one night? And they were like, no. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a go. So I drank, and I filmed it all. I'm on camera, like my 18th beer going, and I can't keep the camera straight on my face, so it's going over here. And yet, I somehow managed not to say something racist, not to say something transphobic, not to say something sexist, not to say something fucking horrible about any minority. How? How did I do that? Well, because I'm not racist. I mean, I'm a product of an endemically racist society, and I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of my white privilege. And people go, "Oh, white privilege, I don't have much money. How is that privilege?" It's not about that. It's about the fact that I don't have to worry as much when I'm walking down the street as someone from a different racial heritage to me. I don't have to worry as much when I'm walking down the street as a woman does in the same situation. I don't have to worry as much. That's my male privilege. But you go back over some old podcasts of these, podcasters, and they're using the N-word every other word. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, you thought it was acceptable then? No, it fucking wasn't. It wasn't acceptable 10 years ago. It wasn't acceptable 20 years ago. It wasn't acceptable 30 fucking years ago. What the fuck? Anyway, so I'm going to wrap up soon because it is 11:15 at night. And I thought maybe, if you like, we could head over to the Discord server. Let me know in the chat if you'd like to head over to the Discord server for a little bit of after hours after this. Ernie says exactly, they put off the market because they're showing the world they are hateful. Kevin says, I thought so. I might be looking for an apartment in Spain now that the Brits are bailing out. Might get a bargain. I'll have to come over and do some viewings. I'll let you know how it happens. That'd be great to know about, Kevin. We could do an article about that, couldn't we? Putin can't make Russia rich. He simply gravitates against it. Completely large-scale innovation and business investment is largely impossible in a state based on oligarchy and with no rule of law. Says Adrian, who continues to make excellent points. Wayne says, oi oi, or oi oi, Wayne. No pleasing some people. That's what Jesus said, sir. Thank you very much. Someone else got on my Monty Python Life of Brian reference. I love it when you get my references. It's great. Graham, where's the bitch, Priti Patel? I don't know. Hiding under a table, probably. I don't know. Don't get me started on it. Biden's new sanctions prohibit US investments in the Donbass region. That's a bit strange targeting. Yeah. My 10 grand in the lottery. I will be slightly richer, says Pineapple Boy. Indeed. Graham, you missed my second super chat, says Veg Pie. Oh my God. Sorry, Veg Pie. £1.79 super chat. Back from James and Brian and Keir Starmer live. Excellent. Excellent. Oh my God, the text speak for excellent. Did you do that on your old Nokia? Love it. Thank you very much, Veg Pie. I hope you had a good time at James O'Brien and Keir Starmer live, which sounds quite interesting. Wayne in Basildon says, just on the way back from Jim's interview with Sakia, you'll enjoy it. Good. Yeah, okay. It might all be a bit posh for me, you know what I'm like? Cool, including the search. Jeremy says, I'll pop to Discord if you like. Yeah, come on, Jeremy. Come over to Discord. We haven't seen you for fucking ages, mate. Come over to the Discord server. You got permissions. Wayne, have you got permissions on the new... We've got a new Discord server. The old one was faulty. It was malfunctioning, sir. So we've got a new one. We've got a nice, shiny new one. So I'm mothballing the old one eventually. People are still kind of using it, so I'm a bit dodgy about going... I don't want to delete it because people have been chatting on there and stuff, and it seems like a historical document that I should kind of keep, but at the same time, oh wow, HK, £10 super chat, thank you very much. I just keep going on here. Phil Spicer, £5 super chat, woo! You can probably manage that in Claghag in Glencoe, and ale from every country anyway. Well, I couldn't do it from every country because that would be like 200 beers. You would die. Your liver would never forgive you. But I did 20. Oh my God. And then the next day I had to be up at 3 in the afternoon to get on a ferry. Christ. A ferry back to Reunion. Oh my God. And I woke up in the guest house at like 3 and the guy who owned the guest house, he was so lovely and friendly. And I was just like... trying to just get out of there, and I was like, thank you so much, thank you for looking after me. And then I left, and then I got in the taxi, and the taxi driver was so nice, and he was just taking a leisurely drive, and I'm like, can you hurry up please? And he was telling me about the time he came to the UK and he was ill and he got taken in by the NHS, and he'll never forget the kindness he was shown when he visited the UK, and he was just really enthusiastic about him. And I'm sitting in the back of this cab just with the worst hangover in my life, about to get on a ship to go overseas. After we pulled out of port, and it was just like, spent a bit of time in the old bathroom, I have to say, of the Troscetia ship. Chris Factory says, to be honest, Putin will be more damaged by proper or anti-organized crime measures against the Russian mafia in the EU and UK. Russian mafia equals the unofficial arm of Russian intelligence. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. And Wayne says, Veg Pie, we were in the same room. Who am I? It's like that, is it? No, they're talking about the Keir Starmer, James O'Brien interview. Brilliant. Okay, well, should we head off? Does anyone else want to throw a super chat in before I just depart? If you do, now's the time to do it. I'm not going to be able to do PMQs this week because I'm actually travelling on the train to Liverpool on Wednesday. And yeah, I could do my usual not safe for work PMQs, but I think I might offend people on the train. It'd be really funny if I went into the quiet carriage and I'm just sitting there with me earphone in, just screaming, "You fucker, you lying piece of shit." And it's a bit of a shame because actually I think Prime Minister's questions this week is going to be pretty insane because you've got the troika of Russia's interference in Ukraine and invasion of Ukraine tonight. You've also got the end of COVID regulations. It seems more like an abandonment of responsibility by the government. And you still got Partygate, which is rumbling on. And the fact that Boris Johnson was interviewed by Sophie Raworth yesterday, in which he would not say that he would resign if he was found guilty. I can't tell you that. I can't. It's an ongoing investigation. No. We're not talking about the investigation. It's not going to come to a jury trial. Just tell us if they find that you lied to Parliament. Will you resign? No, I couldn't. I with the greatest respect, and I couldn't. The thing is that the way I want to talk about the government and the things that we've done and the vaccine rollout. Quick note. 7.5% up in the economy. The economy, yes, the fastest growing economy in the G7. Oh, actually, it went down. It went down 9% the year before, so we're actually still down like nearly 2%. Over the last 2 years, you see. That's how it works. Yeah. Lies. Damn lies. Tories. I'm going to stick that on a mug and sell it. Go the quiet zone. Stream and eat all at the same time. Be internet gold. Film myself getting told off on the bloody Trans-Pennine Express. The good old TPE. Now, even though I probably won't be able to do a show on Wednesday, I will take my kit to Liverpool with me. So I'm going to try and do a show on Thursday about Congo, which should be quite interesting because I'll be talking about my experiences in Congo, mostly spent in jail for a week when I got thrown out for a week in jail in Brazzaville back in 2009. So that'll be fun to talk about. No, it won't. It'll be fun for you. Less fun for me. On Hughes the World. So I'll be doing that on Friday, and then next week on the Monday, there's going to be no Hughes at 10 because it's me birthday. So I'm not going to do a show on my birthday. Sorry guys. Sorry everyone. I'd love to spend my birthday with you, but I've got tickets to Wolf Alice. Sorry. And also sorry to Liverpool. I normally spend my birthday in Liverpool, but I will actually be coming back so I can go to the gig. It was rescheduled. What can I say? If I had known at the time that I bought my tickets that it was on my birthday, I wouldn't have got them. But we got them in last year sometime, and it was supposed to happen in January, but because of COVID, it got moved to my birthday. So I will try and do a show next week. It just won't be on the Monday. But yeah, I will be around. So you can send me messages and stuff. But generally speaking, from today for a week, I'm going to be not about on the screen as much. I'll try and do Thursday. I'll try and do Thursday night. Obviously, it also depends on Storm Gladys, which seems to be the next named storm coming along later this week. Yeah, perfectly normal. Another week on Perfectly Normal Island when we have 4 named storms in the space of a week and a half. Jesus. Tickets to Wolf Harris. No, Lee. No, unfortunately. Wolf Alice, not Wolf Harris. Jesus. Sounds very similar though. They just won the Brit Awards. They won the best band, the Brit Awards last month. No? Is anyone paying attention to that? No one pays attention to things like that anymore. It's like Top of the Pops. It finished like 20 years ago, guys. Holy shit. Hello from sunny Southport. Hello, Stephen. How is it sunny when it's the middle of the night? Okay, I'm going to head off now. Missing out on the chat to solicit birthday super chats, says Pineapple Boy. Yeah, I might do a show on the Tuesday. And I might mention it a lot. Well, I would be here for my party, but for my birthday, but obviously I had tickets. It's always been rescheduled once. Patrick McCarthy has thrown in £4 to the super chats. Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you to my wonderful patrons and supporters and YouTube members. We're going to head over to the Discord server now. If you head over to the After Hours section of the Discord server, the Graham Hughes new Discord server, and we can continue the conversation there with my Putin pot dictator. Do you like what I did there? Do you like... I love a good pun. Right, cool. Eat a pan of scouse. All the best, Graham, from David. I will indeed. I'll be making scouse on my birthday because my birthday is actually Global Scouse Day. Funnily enough, I don't know how that happened. Just wonderful coincidence, which is one of the reasons I normally spend my birthdays in Liverpool. But Global Scouse Day kind of started because I wasn't in Liverpool for my birthday, and my friends decided to celebrate without me, which was nice of them. And yeah, it's been going now for 10 years. Wow. Global Scouse Day. Yes, very clever, Graham. Thank you, Yoni. I'm glad someone appreciated someone else appreciated the pun. The storm empowers me, says Duke Vengeance. Well, yeah, as long as you don't get your roof blown off. We're missing a few tiles. Last night, I was doing the Graham Hughes Films channel, and we were watching a Stanley Kubrick movie. And just at the end of it, I've come back down here into the basement to end the stream, and I'd just been doing the dishes upstairs in the kitchen. And I heard this almighty crash just as I was about to end the stream. So I sort of stood up and was like, shit, I must have stacked them in a way that, they fell over and one of them's broken or something. And yeah, anyway, long story short, I stayed here, finished off the show, went upstairs thinking better go up with the brush and everything, brush up, and yeah, it was fine. All the plates and everything was still on the rack. Nothing had fallen over. I thought that was a bit weird, and then I went out the back door today in the daylight, and yeah, slates have fallen off our roof, so I've got a big hole in the roof at the moment, which needs to be sorted. Yeah, great, good old British storms caused by global warming. Right, so moving on. Duke Vengeance said, Lord of the Cataclysm, I'm in, hate to be first in the pub. Become a Patreon or YouTube member to join the after show chat. Thank you very much to Cash Dummy there for putting in that link there. So if you become a Patreon or if you become a YouTube member, you can join us for our after show chats. And I'll be using Discord a lot more in the coming weeks and months as I get my shit together. And obviously, it's an ongoing process, but I hope you enjoy these. I hope you enjoy these streams. Number 3 says, I love massive thunder and lightning storms. Oh, mate, get over to Bocas del Toro. Wow. Yeah, talk to Marcus about massive thunder and lightning storms. Whoosh. Okay, so I will leave you with my lovely list of lovely patrons, and I will see you either on the Discord server or I'll see you on Thursday for Hughes of the World, all about Congo. Until then, thanks for joining me, and I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Oh, and fuck Putin.